Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29, back again, this time for a subscriber catch-up live stream. I must admit, I know I need a proper intro for this particular one, but until I can think of one or someone can help me with an idea of one, that's what I'm presently using right now. And of course, being a subscriber catch-up live stream, being here in Australia, it is presently our Boxing Day, and I gather that the rest today would be in their Xmas Day on the other side of the world. So, with this episode, I'll be letting the audience know some of the things that I have presently been catching up on, what I've been reading behind the scenes, also what I've been watching, but I'd also like to know what my subscribers have been watching and reading. So this isn't just about me, it's also about you. So to get things started, one thing that I have been catching up with recently is, where is it? Should be in there. Okay. Let's start off there. Now, this is one thing that I have started catching up with again. At the moment, I am presently reading volumes 9 and 10. I'll see if I can find the volume for it here. That shredded or not. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can fix that up a bit. All right, this is something I have presently been reading through or started catching up to read through, and that is My Hero Academia Vigilantes. This is set up much more like a prequel to the My Hero Academia actual series. I have enjoyed all of the previous volumes at the moment, and it's definitely something that is worth the read. Unlike, for example, things like Attack on Titan, they do have another series itself, which is Attack on Titan Before the Fall, or Before the Wall, something like that. I have read, I think, the first couple of volumes of it, which I did somewhat enjoy, but I am planning on collecting all of the box sets in relation to the Attack on Titan. Hey, good to see you, Michael Brent, and I'm glad you're able to make it. I hope you're doing well. So, what have you been up to, Michael Brent? What have you been reading? What have you been watching during this time period? And what have you been enjoying? Because this is a subscriber catch-up live stream, and I know that you're a subscriber to the channel. So what's something that you've been enjoying this year? And I know it's been a while since I've done a subscriber catch-up live stream, and it was getting due. It was definitely getting due for the channel. So I'll wait for you to respond, and I'll share a little bit more on this particular series. In this series, we follow a character by the name of, is it Koichi. And the way this, oh, hello, it's Comic Boom, another subscriber to my channel, but I'm also subbed to his. Hey, good to see you, Comic Boom. I hope you're doing well. And if you'd like to join the live stream, let me know, and I'll happily share a... Okay, Michael Brent says he's been watching Netflix Shaman King. Michael Brent, that is actually one series I do need to catch up with. I have done a review on the first 24. I've got 2 videos out on it. So the first 12 and the second 12. I am going to have to catch up with the next 12. But you know what? I don't care if I'm going to be a little bit late getting those reviews up, because I'm just going to take my time with it. What else? Also reading Spider-Man. Looking up superheroes and video games, and spending holiday with my family. Good for you, Michael Brent. Comic Boom responds. And Chip Zdarsky Stillwater. I've actually heard that that series has been really good. Involving somewhat a town, if I remember, that comes across like a fountain of youth. Is that right? You can correct me in text. You can correct me in text. I only know so much about it. I haven't read any of the issues, but I'm only going by what I've heard. So presently, Comic Boom says, I am out of town with no Wi-Fi, but Merry Christmas. Now, you have a good one too, Comic Boom. And I hope you're enjoying your time with family as well, because this is one good thing about this time of year, being able to spend time with family. All right. Another thing that I have also been doing, you mentioned that you've been watching Netflix's Shaman King. Well, let me show you something that I have actually been watching in my spare time. Well, actually, there's 2 things I have been watching. And one of them is this. Avatar, The Last Airbender. Not the terrible Shyamalan Avatar. No. The good series Avatar. And I must admit, it's really been nice returning back to this series. Even though the last time I watched it, it must have been a few years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And the way this story is done is absolutely incredible. I'm already into the 2nd season, so season 2. Still behind Dr. Stone and Attack on Titan series finale. Kingdom Hearts has been Kingdom Hearts 4 has been announced, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Yes, I did see the trailer for that also when I was on Tevye Smolka's live stream, we got to see the trailer for that particular movie that's coming out. And I hope they do a good job, like for the first movie, like they are for the second. Now, I'm not big into Sonic or Sonic lore, and I'm happy to admit that. And also, they're coming into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2 for PS5. Well, that's something I still got to find time to get a hold of, a PS5 and the new Xbox. But at the moment, they are so difficult to get here in Australia. You love Avatar: The Last Bender? I've not watched the Legend of Korra series. I've heard some mixed on the sequel series. That there are some people that actually don't like it, and that's understandable. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I just haven't watched it fully through. I am going to need to watch it fully through after I finish the first, or after I finish rewatching the first Avatar. And I've had people tell me, just don't watch it. they did not enjoy it that much. But I will say one thing about Avatar, or The Legend of Korra. There are some good villains in there that I have sort of seen in the footage, like the animated footage that I've seen. Like the one that's in the first season, I like. I like how that villain comes across. And he feels like someone that would be perfect for like an Avatar to go up against. Love the series because they have good story, and unlike Disney Star Wars characters, have flaws, but also have overcome it. Yes, and that is important in storytelling, is that, yes, you do have characters that do have flaws, but they also need to overcome those flaws. So it's been really nice catching up with this particular series. I'm presently, like I said, in the second season. And after that, I'll be moving into the third, which involves Aang learning fire or firebending. In this one, or in this season, he's starting to learn a little bit about earthbending, as well as other little things that are happening along the way. It's nice to go back over an old series that you haven't watched for a while, and also look at the things that you sometimes miss. I'll now move on to one of the other things that I have been watching. And I must admit, it's really been nice to catch up with this series again. And I wouldn't have been able to catch up with this series if it wasn't for an anime which I had no idea existed. And it was by Akira Amano. About the only thing I knew about this one, the Reborn series by Akira Amano. This is a long series, and I absolutely love the story. I love the characters, and it's absolutely incredible. I can basically remember a fair amount of the characters' names, and that's why I enjoy the series, and that's why I also have done reviews of the manga on the channel. And if it wasn't for the manga connected to the channel and its reviews, I wouldn't have actually gotten my first 100 subscribers. And Again, that's where my thanks goes to the subscribers, not to myself, because I can't do it without them and I can't do it without you. It's really good. I only watch Naruto, DBZ, Sailor Moon, Kingdom Hearts, Fairy Tail, High School D&D. You actually mentioned a few titles in there, Michael Brent, which I would actually like to personally watch myself. Yu-Gi-Oh! I have seen, but in the English, I've not watched it in the sub. High School D&D, I started watching that until Anime Labs here in Australia decided to team up with Funimation, and then its setup went to crap. It's being completely blunt about it. And any watch time that I had of that series practically lost and sort of like unable to return to it. So I did try watching the first episode of Fairy Tail, but I think I might be more involved in sort of like checking out the manga more so than the Fairy Tail. High School D&D, I definitely want to get the manga for, because it does actually have some fan service that I know of. But how much fan service, I don't know. If it's as much fan service as it shows in the anime, okay, I might consider picking up all of the volumes. I also understand that there are also some light novels connected to the series. Another title that you bring up here is Bleach. Well, I got some good news Bleach-wise. I do have the box sets. Well, box sets 2 and 3. And it took me quite a while to actually find box set 1. And I mean a long while to find box set 1. I ended up finally finding it, but it was overseas. Not in Australia, but it was overseas. So when I have all 3 box sets together, I do have plans on getting a video up just to show them in a manga hall. So until that occurs, I'm just stuck in waiting right now. What else do you have here? Sailor Moon. Yes, I remember watching Sailor Moon when I was a bit younger, but not really my thing. But if you enjoy it, I'm glad you enjoy it. And with Reborn, I'm presently in season 5 right now. The thing is that this story arc in season 5 is a really huge story arc. And it's something that starts to encompass around season 4, or starts off season 4, which is sort of like a future arc. But it doesn't finish until, I think it's season 6. No idea who this is. I think they might be a bot. How about the 7 Deadly Sins and My Hero Academia? 7 Deadly Sins is actually a manga I'd like to get a hold of, because I'd like to learn about the character of, I think the main character, or one of the main characters' name is called Melodious. I don't know who the other one is that's in that. Feel free to let me know. Then there's My Hero Academia. Yes, I have been watching My Hero Academia as well as reading My Hero Academia. I do need to get back into Shield Hero, The Rising, or Shield Hero Rising, with the character of Naofumi, if I remember. That's another series that I'm going to need to get back on track in sort of like, if I got to watch the whole series like from beginning to end, like of the first season, so be it. At least I'll be able to get all caught up and finally get a review done for it out of the way. I was thinking of getting the light novels in relation to that series, but until then, it's just left on the shelf until it actually happens. Sword Art Online, another one I do need to catch up with. Again, I did start making progress on Anime Lab before they were taken over by Funimation, and basically all of that history is practically lost. So I could be starting over again with that. But I think with the series, I ended up getting through, it was either the first 2 episodes or the first 3 episodes. I did have some other series on there that I was beginning to watch, and again, I lost all that information too of what I was watching in watch hours. And yeah, stuff like that is terribly annoying, especially if I like to review anime on this channel, because it now means that I got to go over to Funimation. Now that's providing that Funimation has those areas freed up, to which I don't have to subscribe, like pay to subscribe, to watch those series. And whilst I was looking through Anime Lab, it's actually how I came across Owd Live. Now I'll type it up in the text as to how it's spelt. And I'll also show it here, so we get twice. We get all right. This is a series that I ended up watching this year, Owd Live, and in this one, it actually centers around the character, not by Suna Sawada, because he's connected to the Reborn universe. But that's not to say that there hasn't been a crossover between them. Now, this one is sort of like a space cop story. But a lot of the space cop stories in connection to this character happen on the planet that he's living on, being Earth. You learn that he has a Monet alien, and it's like really interesting to learn about how it actually, or how this symbiote of things, it's worth watching and it's worth finishing, Michael Brent, and I definitely recommend it, because I'd have to say without this series, I probably wouldn't have been able to return to the Reborn series by Akira Amano. Now, for myself, if I were to get a hold of this series, the only way I'd be able to get a hold of this series would be through ebook form, which is available in English, or physical form, which is in Japanese. Personally, I'd love to get this whole series in English, but in a box set. And as far as I know, I think there's only 16 volumes to this actual series. And you know what? I would be fine with that. I would be absolutely fine with reading all 16 volumes of this particular series in a box set in English with some additional things from the creator. I would love to read it, because the way the symbiosis works with this character has to do with the character's basically faith and belief. not only in him, or not only in himself, but also with the mono alien, and it works way different as to how it works in the series of Reborn, where Reborn, you've got the Desperation Bullet, but also the chakra too. So you've got those two things that can help set something off. In this, it's completely different because the mono alien with this particular character also works in a way like the character's conscience, like when it tries to let him know of something that might be sus on a situation. Ever watch Overlord? No, I haven't watched Overlord. I haven't watched Tokyo Ghoul or Hyperdimensions, Neptunia. Black Bullet, I almost thought that said Black Butler, but I have watched Black Butler, and I did end up watching and finishing season 2 this year. So that was quite interesting. I am slowly beginning season 3 of Black Butler. And yeah, I mean slowly beginning it. It's a good thing that it's also available on Crunchyroll. That I seriously mean. I'm happy that it's also available on Crunchyroll. And seeing where this story goes, it looks like it starts to fall back into something that is maybe manga related in the story, where the second season of Black Butler, there was nothing at all manga related about that series, but I did in fact enjoy some aspects of that season. There were things that happened with like a type of rival to the character of Ciel, as well as a rival to Ciel's butler. But on top of that, there was a bloody twist in the end, wasn't there? Oh my bloody goodness. That twist was the end, and was not the best of twists. It was an interesting twist, but not the best of twists. So moving on to the next thing. That I have also been doing some reading of in the background. Where is it? I have also been reading the My Hero Academia light novel series. And I've already read through the first one. I'm making a start on the second. And this series has been quite interesting because this works on stories that set around the time of the training camp, which is seen in season, I think it's 2 or 3. And because of that, you get to learn a little bit more about the characters, learn about some of the things, or like extra things outside of the main manga of which they did training for. And on top of that, there has been another light novel series that I have been reading. And yes, this does actually bring us back to Naruto again. And no doubt about that. So I'll move on to that one that I've been reading. And this is the Naruto story. And this centers around an event in the world of Naruto called Family Day. Yes, watch a lot of Naruto and Boruto. I have watched the early animated of Naruto, but I found that I enjoyed the Naruto manga more so than the anime. So that's the way I ended up going through Naruto. And it's also practically how I started with the Boruto as well. I did end up seeing the Boruto movie. I have been watching through the Boruto anime. I do need to catch up with the anime itself, the Boruto one, so I can get a review up for that one. And it'll probably be a while until I actually do that, because I want to try to catch up with other series that I've had in the back, and bringing them out to the front, and then eventually move back into those other stories. And I must admit, what I've read so far, this has been really good. It's nice to see the story around, like, Naruto as a dad, as a family man. Of course, having this family day set for, like, all of the families in Konoha. So, and yes, some of it was actually adapted into the Boruto series. And I'm glad that it was actually adapted into the Boruto series. Because, and I do think they've got other plans of other manga and light novels that they are planning to adapt onto the particular series. And I hope they do actually get that done, because it will make the content a little bit more exciting. But on top of that, if they are going to make a lot of this content, because I understand there are still some light novels that are in the Japanese that need to be translated in the English. The faster that they can get them translated into English, the better. Good to see you, Sliverclaw. I hope you're doing well. And yes, it is a Super Sun's Day too. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Whilst you're here, Sliverclaw, what have you been watching? And this also includes TV series. What TV series have you been watching that you've enjoyed? And I know you're a subscriber to the channel. Let us know. Who knows, maybe you might suggest something to me that I might want to check out in my spare time. Because I know Michael Brent's mentioned quite a bit here. You're welcome. Well, not only with Viz and that finally adapting some of these light novels into the Boruto series, I think that's a great idea. But what would even... Oh, Blacklist. Now, there's a series I have not watched for a long time. I remember watching the first season. I think it was the first couple of seasons, and I really liked the first couple of seasons, but I didn't really get to catch up with any of the later seasons. Oh, yes, another series on the topic of sort of like live action series. This year, I caught up with, what was it? Where is that website? There. Okay. One thing I decided to check out was, apart from Last Airbender, I wanted to go back and rewatch the Gotham series. I also wanted to check out the latest season of Lost in Space. I've slowly started watching the Stranger Things series. Die Hard, Hans Gruber fell from the Nakatomi Towers and it became yes, in that story, yes. Then there was another series that I came across. I still haven't finished watching the first episode, but it really drew me in. Just because of sort of like how it works on, I think it works a little bit on the string theory but string plus time theory. And it's a bit of a European series, and it's called Dark. Now, that is one that I didn't think would grab my interest. But surprisingly, it did. And I am planning on going back to sort of like rewatch the original Heroes series, as well as the Game of Thrones series before, like, watch the early seasons before it turned to shit. Being blunt about it, of course. But yeah, catching up with season 3 of Lost in Space. That is one I definitely wanted to catch up with. Because I did get to watch the first 2 seasons, and my goodness, there was a bloody surprise in the first episode of that. A character that you thought bloody died but didn't die. That's all I'm going to say. But at least the character begin to find their true calling. So I'm not going to complain about that. At least they begin to find their true calling. So moving off the Naruto story, I'm going to move on to another manga that I've actually been reading. And I know I've covered it on the channel, just in the manga review of it, and that is Vinland Saga. Okay, Mrs. is on the Witcher series. That's the one with Henry Cavill, isn't it? Sliverclaw, if I remember. I hope she's enjoying that. Now, this is one series, or this is one manga that I have been reading through. And I also want to thank like a number of channels as well that have also recommended like checking out the anime. I did manage to get a hold of the anime series. So a big thanks and shout out goes to Weaponized Nerd Rage. His channel, Chibi Reviews, and there's a couple of others outside of those that have also watched it. So a big thanks actually goes towards them. On a side note, The Kingdom, a Korean piece with zombies, and yes, she is. That's good to hear, Silverclaw. So, Vinland Saga. I do want to watch this series, but it might be a while before I start to review the anime. Because I want to try to catch up as much as I can with the manga first. And I have watched some of the first episode of Vinland Saga, and I've watched the first episode. It's really good. That's all I can say. It's really good. I like it. It gets me excited for the story. But I need to watch all 24 episodes. So I'll probably, when I do, I'll finally do the review for this series on the channel, I'll probably do the review in 2 parts. So the first part covering the first 12 episodes, and the second part covering the last 12 episodes. Much like with what I did with, what series was it? Eden Zero. But with the Eden Zero one, that first season actually ended up going to 25 episodes. So, but I also did it with the Shaman King one as well. So I covered the first 12 and the second 12 after that. So it will probably be done in a very similar format to those. I just need to get around to watching it, because I know that when I'm going to be watching this series is to how close it actually sticks to the manga. And I mean how close it sticks to the manga. And I think there has been an announcement of a second season of Vinland Saga. That I would definitely be interested in watching, because I believe where I'm reading in the manga right now covers the area of where the second season of the anime will go. And it involves basically, this is going to put some spoilers out because of what I've been watching or what I've been reading of the manga. So sorry about the spoilers. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, you might want to mute it now for about 2 or 3 minutes. Unless you want to move it forward 2 or 3 minutes after it's been done. In the manga where I am right now, we've got the character of Thorfinn, and he is actually working on a farm. So he's basically a farmhand slave. And in it, he is also put with someone else who's wanting to escape and go back home, and also find his love. We do end up encountering the character, to which he loves. Gotta go, bah humbug. Take care, Silverclaw. So after he encounters the person that he does actually love, because she too has somewhat become a slave as well, and the person that he's with, I do apologize because I forget the character's name, which Thorfinn is with, that has this wife. He also sort of wants to escape and gain his liberty. So basically become like an escaped slave, take his wife with him, and also take Thorfinn with him as well. Whilst this is occurring, there's now talk of, and also actions of, a villain who has encountered this particular shire, to which he's practically a part of now. And of course, whilst Thorfinn is sort of like trying to deal with the things of the past, in the story. Of course, he's like been going through some hallucinations because he wanted to be the one to finish off Askeladd. He never got... Again, spoilers. He never got to kill off Askeladd. But now he's like trying to re-find his own purpose in the storyline. Because at the beginning, he also wanted to learn, like at the beginning of the story, he also wanted to learn why his father left the battlefield to do what he did. And he never actually found out that answer because of his death by Askeladd. So now he is left to sort of like find the answer by himself. Now, whether he finds it in the end or not, I don't know. And apparently volume 12 of the manga is meant to be coming out, I think either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. I am going to have to work on getting a hold of that particular volume. So it's going to be quite interesting as to see how far this story will go and how many volumes this story will have. Presently, there are 11 volumes in the series. 12 is coming out. It might even go to, say, maybe volume or end at volume 15. And that's just a rough guess. It doesn't mean it's correct. It's just a rough guess. Because there is actually a lot to read in the Vinland Saga manga. Each manga consists of roughly, I think it's under 1,000 pages. And I'm presently up to volume 7. So that's quite a number of volumes as well as pages that you got to read through. And it's really, really interesting in that aspect. It's nice also watching sort of like the beginnings of Thorfinn's character. Some of the things that he's been asked to do. And also some of the things that he didn't want to do but had to do. Well, apart from that, it looks like we're slowly approaching the end of the stream, unless you're still around, Michael Brent. Maybe you'd like to join the live stream, and we can talk for a little bit. I did send an invitation to Tevye if he wanted to join, but if he's unable to make it, so be it. And another thing as well, with this live stream, to those who are looking forward to my top 5 of 2021, that is most likely going to happen around sometime next year. So I do apologize for that because of how crazy things have been here in regards to like the postal services. Again, it's something out of my control. Things are slowly starting to get back to some sort of normal in regards to that. But I do have things already scheduled for the upcoming weeks. But the thing is, last time I did a somewhat schedule, and I decided to put up 2 weeks on one, it did also somewhat backfire on me. So, yeah, it was nice getting up like 2 weeks of comics reviews on one. But I thought this time I might be able to do it with maybe one of the upcoming ones. So that will probably be happening with, I think it's week, what week was it? Because I want to try to bring things a little bit closer, like for some reviews, but other things I need to sort of like give myself a little bit of space so I am able to complete some reviews. So which week's this one? Okay, not third week. Fourth week and fifth week of December. Comic trade and manga halls. Those will probably get or go up on the same week. So when things start on the first week of January, and I mean when they actually begin on the first week of January, I do want to get, or the first week of January 2022, I'll be making sure that when that list goes up, that I'll also have the top 5 list go up as well with those reviews. And that's why I sort of want to try to put week 4 and 5 together. So when I begin week 1 of January 2022, that you'll also get to see the top 5s, and I'll let you know the categories of the top 5s. But I'm not going to tell you what comics are going to be mentioned in there. So I've got the top 5 worst comics of 2021, and that'll be going under the Rainbow Press and Comics. I will also have the top 5 worst DC comics of 2021. So be prepared. I can't give away any spoilers, and the decisions are final, so I'm not going back on my decisions. Now, I'm not too sure what order they're going to go up on the channel for when the top 5 does actually happen. Of course, I've got the top 5 manga I read through 2021. That's another one that I'll be covering. And what I'll do with these top 5 is on that week, I'll make sure that they go up as a premiere. Then we move on to the top 5 DC comics of 2021. The top 5 comics of 2021. Hey, I can't forget this. The top 5 indie comics of 2021, because there were actually some indie titles that I did actually enjoy. And last but not least, the top 5 anime I watched in 2021. And I'm really looking forward to when they actually go up. And quite likely, you'll begin to see those top 5 probably show up around February of next year. So that should be really good. Like I said, I can't give away any spoilers. You can have a guess what titles might be in any of those top 5. But I can't give away any spoilers as to where they sit in the top 5. So until then, it will be quite interesting. On the topic of top 5s anyway, to those who are still here, what have been some of your top 5s? What are your top 5 comics, trades, manga, anime, whatever you've been watching during this year? I'd love to hear. I don't expect you to give a top 10 because I'm not doing a top 10. I think if I did a top 10, there might be more on the list than expected. Alrighty then. Well, tomorrow I will be doing a live stream, or another live stream once again. And that live stream will be on the Joker's Wild, because I wanted to get one done before the end of the year. And in this one, well, you'll learn why this episode of or the episode 2 of the Joker's Wild will be going up, because I didn't really get to share a lot in relation to it in the first episode. But I thought by coming back and addressing it in the second episode would be a good idea, as to sort of like how the idea of the Joker's Wild came along, or what led me to do the Joker's Wild. And that's all I'll say right now. To all who have made it to this live stream, I thank you very much, and I hope you have an awesome day, whether you're a new subscriber or even an old subscriber to the channel. Like I said, I still need to work on getting up a new intro for this particular live stream, the subscriber catch-up stream. I could definitely do with some ideas, because I know at the moment I've got what I've got for the intros, like covering the intros which cover or that connect to the Joker's Wild, the Super Sons Fortress of Attitude, and last but not least, the Rainbow Press and comic stuff. I might be able to do a video which has all 3 of them in one, but I'd need to play around a bit just to make it work. But I don't want it to be just about that, because the idea of the subscriber catch-up stream is exactly that, to catch up with the subscribers of the channel. Well, until then, who has turned up? Feel free to say hello in the text. And okay, until then, have yourself an awesome day. Until the next episode, if you're interested in joining me in another subscriber catch-up live stream, please let me know in the comments, in the comment section. Another way that you can let me know is going to my channel page, and you can also say hello to me via my Twitter. That's another way, and let me know that way. And it would be nice to have some other people to join me on the live streams, in these catch-up live streams. Until then, have yourself an awesome day.